Welcome to Module 9. In this module, we'll be talking about prototyping and micro interactions. So what you'll be learning about in this module is how to link screens and define flows in Figma prototypes, how to use your connectors, how to create an interactive prototype using Figma. Next, you will learn how to add micro interactions to buttons, menus, and UI elements. So follow me.
Hey there. Now we'll be going into how prototyping works. So prototyping is quite different from creating the elements themselves. Prototyping is about giving them life, making them interactive, and ensuring they animate and provide feedback to the user. So for you to start prototyping, you need to go into the prototype menu, which is right on your properties menu, and you move into prototype. So once you move into prototype, you see the elements now behave differently, and you can prototype any element itself. So you need to be very conscious of where exactly it is you are going to put your prototype. So but for this, we are going to be prototyping the entire field, the entire input field component here, this particular variant I mean. Then if you want to prototype, you have to click and drag the connector cable, that is the plus icon that appears at the edges on the faces of the elements that you are planning to prototype. So I'm prototyping it to this. So the strategy for prototyping is quite different from when you're creating your frame or creating your component, because this time you have to think of what state the component currently is and what state do you want it to go into. So when designing a micro interaction, you have to understand what state are we currently at, then what state are we going into. So if you can plot that, if you can plan that also for each of your components or each of your elements on your interface, it would help you get better at creating micro interactions. So a menu pops up when you connect to something, to another element, and you can see the options available to you. So what activity would trigger this interaction? So by default it's on tap, because Figma has sized up the element to see, okay, is this going to be a mobile or a web activity? So it's on tap. So on tap, on drag, these are the other options: while hovering, while pressing a key or gamepad, mouse enter, and so on and so forth. Next is the action that is meant to happen, that once this trigger is activated, what action is meant to happen. So because we are creating a micro interaction in a component, it's always going to be a change too, because they are variants of the same component. So you're changing from one variant to another. But if you are going to other frames or other items that are not within the same parent frame, you are going to navigate, or you're going to go back, or you're going to open overlay, swap overlay, close, and so on and so forth. But it's all dependent on what exactly you're trying to achieve. Then what is the property that you're trying? So you can see all the other variants that are available to you. You can change it to the field state, and the interaction moves to that. You can change it back to the typing state, because what do we want a person to tap on this and it converts and it changes into a typing style animation. Then what type of animation do you want? Do you want it to be instant? Do you want it to dissolve? Or do you want it to smart animate? I usually go smart animate, because it just gives you that flowing feeling. So the curve is out. So this is for advanced, but just leave it on ease out most of the time. Then duration 300 meters per second. So we don't want it to reset. So we'll test it out. How do we test out our so let me draw a frame. We test out our animations, our micro interactions, by going into the viewport. So how do we go into the viewport? We go by pressing the play button. So if I click on this and I press the play button, I am going to go into my viewport. It loads up. As you can see, it opened as a mobile screen. So let me try and stretch this a bit. So let's see. So if you click, so this is what we did. If you click, it changes to this, and that's all you need to know.